RB Battles, Season 3. It's over. It's done. I did the final battle. I watched the videos. I've played the game. It's time to express my opinion on it. Here we go. So, I hope you guys are having a great day. If you haven't yet, make sure to leave a like on the video. And yeah, we're going to dive into this. My opinion on RB Battles, Season 3. So overall, there were some pros to this, and then there were some cons to this. I feel like that there were some positives, there were some negatives to this. Although I think there were some more positives than negatives, I think, by a little bit. So anyways, starting out with the first thing, overall, the visuals were really well done. Like, honestly, I think the visuals for RB Battle Season 3 were definitely better than last year. Like, I gotta admit, with, like, the dynamic faces and stuff and the fact that you were able to talk to the hosts both in, like, the game and in the final battle was really cool. But yeah, I didn't enjoy the visuals, though. The visuals were good. Honestly, it kind of felt like you were in, like, a video game that really wasn't Roblox in a way. And it was just cool. Like, the visuals were really cool. Like, it made the game, like, a lot more realistic. I enjoyed it. And even, like, just in, like, the regular, like, RB Battles game, like, even the visuals were good. Like, I didn't really have any complaints about the visuals or anything. Like, it just made it seem, like, a bit more, like, lively and stuff. Like, overall, the visuals were really well done. It was pretty cool. But on the negative side, though, when they first released it, they decided not to put checkpoints in. And in my opinion, this made it really tricky to the point of too much rage. And what I mean by this is that I feel like that there's a point. Like, sometimes it's good to, like, rage, like, when you, like, oof and stuff. Like, sometimes it's funny, like, I end up doing it on stream and stuff. But I feel like that there is a point to where it just starts to get annoying. And I feel like that's what happened when there were no checkpoints. Like, I know what happened with Ernie C3. I know Ernie C3 was kind of raging over the fact that there were no checkpoints. I was too. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it just made it, like, too difficult. And I feel like it kind of made people give up way too easily. I think that was the issue with releasing it with no checkpoints. I feel like if they released it with checkpoints first, it would have been a lot better of an experience, I think. And I probably would have given it a higher rating overall. And yes, I am giving this game a rating, but yeah, that's just my opinion, though. But yeah, this is more directed to the final battle, though. Like, most of my negatives are really directed to the final battle, and my positives, too. Although they sort of do tie into, like, the actual game, but yeah, that's my personal opinion, though. Like, I just feel like that it just made people a bit too enraged and a little too annoyed that there were no checkpoints at first. But yeah, another negative, though, that did come with this event is that it was a bit complex. Well, actually, it's kind of a positive, too, that the gameplay was a bit complex. I mean, I'm not saying that that's the negative part. The negative part is that it did make the game boring at some points. And what I mean by this is that specifically you guys know about how there's, like, that one lab area with, like, the robots and stuff. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. It's like that one, like, portal area. Like, it literally took me, like, an hour or two just to complete that whole area. And I don't know, like, after, like, kind of failing a little bit, it did start to get a little bit boring for me. Like, honestly, that was probably the most boring part of the whole final battle, in my opinion. But yeah, that's what I mean by that, though. Is that, like, eventually... I feel like that eventually, though, after you do a bit of a complex thing, like, sometimes it just, like, you know, makes you bored. Like, because if you keep dying on, like, that complex part, like, I just feel like that after doing it so many times, it just gets boring. I feel like that's kind of what happened with me on stream when I was doing that lab part specifically. I feel like it just made it a bit boring. And also, I'm not even sure if there was really music that came with it either. I mean, not that that was too big of a factor, but yeah, there were just some points where the complex gameplay just made it a bit boring to do after a few attempts. I feel like too with the mini games, especially with the lava escape one, I felt like that eventually it started to get a little bit tedious. But yeah, that's my opinion though on the gameplay. I mean, I'm not saying that the complex gameplay wasn't bad. It was challenging. It was fun to do. It's just that after doing it for so many attempts, it just started to get tedious. But yeah, that leads into my next thing though. The levels were hard, but also fun. I feel like that if the levels were too easy, it would just I don't know, the rating for this honestly would probably go down if it was easier. But I did enjoy the levels being hard though. It made it challenging to complete, and I did enjoy that factor of it. I did enjoy that. I did enjoy it being hard but fun. And then the story was also well developed as well. I did like the story that they tried to do with the whole Netpunk Industries thing and with JP. It was actually pretty cool. I liked, and then obviously Russo came back. I feel like that there was still kind of some unanswered questions about Russo, but also about the RB battles videos too. They also kind of hinted at the story and stuff as well. But yeah, I enjoyed the story though. It was a pretty good story. I think in season 2 they did a pretty good job of it as well. I feel like the season 3 story though was a bit better, maybe because of the dialogue and stuff, which actually leads into me saying that the dialogue was amazing. I think Sabrina and DJ and Russo did a good job of acting out with the dialogue and stuff. And I'm not sure who they had voice JP, but overall though the voice acting was good, the dialogue was good. I feel like it really helped the story develop a bit more as well. So yeah, I did enjoy the dialogue. And then I kind of talked about this earlier in the video, but the checkpoints definitely made the experience better. Because this was the other thing too with no checkpoints. And I think this is the reason why it started to become a pain in the butt. Is because with no checkpoints, let's say you're towards the end, you end up dying at the final boss part. You have to go all the way from the beginning in order to get to the point you were at. And I feel like it would have literally taken, I feel like that for some people, maybe including me, it would have taken 24 hours just to beat the whole thing if there was no checkpoints. I know they do have a hardcore mode though where there was no checkpoints, but yeah, the one thing that sucked about it though is that they released it first with no checkpoints. I kind of wished they gave the option out at first, and then I feel like it would have made the experience better, but though having the checkpoints was good. It lessened the rage, I think, and it made me have a more enjoyable experience. So thank you. Thank you to the developers for adding checkpoints. But yeah, the next thing I have is that the story did have a cool twist or two. Especially with the JP thing and, Russo just straight up saving everybody. I did enjoy that. I liked how the story had some cool twists. So yeah, I did like that. And then the mini game choices too are pretty good. I feel like that the mini game choices were challenging. And then also, the simulator scrimmage, that part was kind of easy, but I did like the mini game choices. They were pretty cool. They were a bit challenging, but I did enjoy them. And then the other thing too, this is pretty much going to be my last point before I give my rating. But the videos were actually pretty good as well. I do want to talk about the RB Battles videos a bit. They definitely worked hard on them. They were really well edited, especially the finale. Overall, I think Sabrina and DJ did a good job with the videos. They were pretty consistent too with the video time. The contestants were fun to watch as well. And there were some good game choices. They decided to bring Piggy for a game. They had Mount Everest. It was pretty cool. Although another thing though too, I'm not sure if they did it this season. I think they kind of reserved this. I feel like they kind of took this out because of the hints. But I think last season though, didn't they have an extra person go in in each video? Because didn't like Flamingo come in for a video last season, and then you had Minitoon? I'm assuming they just took that out because they wanted to give out the hints, and I guess they did of the guest hosts though, which kind of made up for that. But yeah, the videos were good though, and that's the other thing too about like the contestants. Like I'm happy they brought Flamingo in, and I'm happy they brought in like a few fan favorites and stuff. Like they brought Dennis back, they brought Creek back, they brought Tanker back, who won again. And then they brought in some new contestants too, like Pinkleaf and Ibella, that are more on the younger side. So it was interesting. The only thing I'm kind of disappointed about is that Creek got fourth, but I'm not going to put that against this event. Because, Ibella and Pinkleaf played pretty well. And they did better than I expected, to be honest. But I guess the disappointing thing, though, is that when they boosted, like, the point score, like, if it was still at 8, like, Pinkleaf would have ended up winning. I just feel like that part, like, ended up causing a lot of controversy. So that was, like, a negative about this event, is how they, like, brought the point amount up. Because I think people were pretty disappointed about that because they thought that Pinkleaf should have won. Like, he was at 8 points, and then they boosted it up, and then Tanker managed to end up clutching it out in the end. But, the finale was still good. The videos were still good. And yeah, this leads into my overall rating. And overall, I give this event a 9.3 out of 10. And out of 100, that's 93, so a 93% rating. But yeah, the reason why I gave it a 9.3 is just because I feel like some of the negatives were kind of a pain in the butt. And they were kind of a bit like, I don't know, I feel like some of the negatives did bring down this event a little bit. Like I said, there were a good amount of positives, but I feel like that the negatives just kind of like brought down like the experience for me. But like I said, though, the experience was still good. But in my personal opinion, I don't think it was perfect. But overall, though, it was a good season. I enjoyed it. I really hope there's a season 4. I hope Roblox Doors is included as one of the games in season 4. That'd be great. That would be a really tough badge, but also a really challenging badge. That's the other thing, too, is that the games with the badges, too, some were pretty easy, and some were pretty challenging. But yeah, I enjoyed getting the badges, though. I kind of wished, though, that the Mount Everest one, I kind of wished I was able to actually get that one, although it was kind of broken for me on Xbox for some reason. Mount Everest, please fix it. Because when I was like going to like select stuff with like the cursor and stuff, like it wasn't really working. That was the other thing too, is that there were some bugs at first with like the RB Battles game, and it wasn't really like letting me vote and things like that. It was kind of weird at first. That was the thing. I feel like that there were a few like console bugs that if they were fixed earlier, I think it would have made the experience a lot better. But, 9.3 out of 10, it's a pretty solid rating. And yeah, the event overall was pretty good. So I hope you guys overall enjoyed this video and me ranting about RB battles. If you haven't yet, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.